Right, so Matt Riddle is a wrestler who has always had some controversy and drama following him at all times. And despite the fact he's been out of the WWE for 2 years now, his name has came up again in a recent news story about scamming an indie wrestling company out of a charity event booking. Yeah, just mad stuff. Feels like there's been so many incidents recently in the world of independent wrestling. I cover all sorts of them on this channel, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see them all. As if you somehow don't know anything about Matt Riddle before even becoming a wrestler was an MMA fighter. He made it to the UFC and was actually a very decent UFC fighter. However, he couldn't really stay out of trouble. That was his big issue. He tested positive for weed and ended up getting fired from the UFC, and he's always had not a great relationship with UFC president Dana White. And so yeah, following his UFC firing, he would move over to wrestling and start wrestling on the independent wrestling scene, and he very quickly started picking up steam as one of the top stars on the indies. And of course, he eventually signed for the WWE as he showed up on a takeover event in the crowd at NXT in 2018. And his NXT run was fine. He wrestled near the main event of the show. He did the Broserweight stuff with Pete Dunne, if you remember that, and they were the NXT Tag Champions. And then he had a solid main roster run as well when he was called up to the main roster, as he was a United States champion. He was a multi-time tag champion alongside Randy Orton as RK Bro. And he had a good upper mid card to main event spot on the roster, and I believe at one point he was even penciled in to win a Royal Rumble match before it was changed at the last minute, typical Vince McMahon booking. However, Matt Riddle's biggest problem his entire run with WWE, similarly to his run with the UFC, has always been his attitude backstage and the various drama and controversies he's found himself in, and his inability to stay out of trouble. He notoriously had beef with Goldberg backstage, which led to a funny on-video confrontation between the two, a very awkward moment but very funny. And Matt Riddle's loudmouth even extended into real-life heat with Seth Rollins over comments he made about Becky Lynch. And throughout his time in WWE as well, Matt Riddle was suspended twice for wellness violations, with Riddle himself admitting that the second time was due to cocaine usage. And during the pandemic, he was also named in the Speaking Out movement, being accused of sexual assault by a female independent wrestler. He would deny the allegations and later file a restraining order against his accuser, and when that was withdrawn, his accuser then filed a lawsuit against him, WWE, and Gabe Sapolsky, with that lawsuit being dropped in July of 2021. It's safe to say that wherever Matt Riddle goes, controversy follows him, and it somehow still rings true to this day, despite the fact he's been gone from the WWE since 2023. As just the other day, Cultaholic would break this story about Matt Riddle no-showing and ripping off a charity pro wrestling show on Sunday, August 31st, just a couple of days ago. As Riddle was booked to face Simon Miller at Global Wrestling Kingdom's A New Kingdom Rises event in Barnsley, England, Riddle however never travelled to the UK for the show and has yet to return the deposit paid to him by the promotion. And yet the show was a charity event that was raising money for charities in support of survivors of domestic abuse and homeless veterans. And there's some further info here on this Wrestle Purist post, as Global Wrestling Kingdom is a wrestling show or a wrestling promotion being ran by Al Snow, and Matt Riddle versus What Culture Wrestling's own Simon Miller was set to be the main event. However, he never showed up, and so Grado would instead be the one to face Simon Miller, a good suitable replacement I would say, as Riddle apparently had expressed concerns about the flight, claiming it was cheap, and his unhappiness about being in a hotel room in Barnsley for 2 days. Riddle never cancelled the booking, and he never travelled to the UK, as a driver was left waiting for several hours. And so yeah, Riddle not being there meant they had to issue refunds for meet and greets, which for an indie promotion to take that hit, that absolutely sucks. And they've also said that he didn't return his deposit to the indie promotion, so that also sucks to take that hit. And after this story started going viral across social media, this of course led to Matt Riddle making his own response in 2 Twitter videos.
I'm gonna make this quick. GWK. The reason I didn't go is because you booked me a flight for Thursday for a show that was happening Sunday, and you said you were booking me meet and greets, other matches, and appearances. You did none of that. I had nothing scheduled, and I was going to sit in a hotel room for 2 days in London. I told you multiple times I can't do that or wouldn't do that, and I got work for Friday and Saturday. And Thursday. I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I told you I'd fly to London Saturday evening. You said you paid for it. I go, no, you paid for it. Take it out of my pay. Whatever. You guys refused. So I flew to Miami and wrestled there. All right? I never said I wouldn't pay you guys back. That's a lie. Also, this show wasn't a charity event. That's a lie. That was a last second change. You also booked me the worst flight in history, bro. Middle seat, no meal, no checked bag. GWK, this is probably your last run.
A very interesting first response from Matt Riddle, but it is not the only one, as he also posted this second one as well.
You know, I could explain everything in great detail. I'm not lying. But I really don't give a fuck anymore. Most of you motherfuckers are dumb fucking cunt. Just like when you believe that Me Too bullshit, all the other fucking garbage. You guys are all fucking dumb. And it's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. Fucking believe these fucking creeps? Ugh. Whatever, dog. At the end of the day, I'm going to keep getting booked. I'm probably going to start fighting again. I'm probably going to do a lot of other shit. Fucking crushing on OnlyFans because I've got a big fucking you-know-what. And I'm nice as fuck, dude. Everybody, if you don't like me, unfollow. Go fuck yourselves, alright? I don't give a fuck because at the end of the day, the cream fucking rises to the top. And I'm really, really tired of trying to be nice to everybody. Because I hate to break it to you, most of you guys are fucking morons. Peace!
A very useful response there from Matt Riddle, with the claims being that he scammed a charity event and his response being, oh yeah, well, my OF does well. Like, what? But instantly some of these claims by Matt Riddle were debunked, such as the one that the charity aspect of the show being last minute. Contrary to Matt Riddle's claims of a last minute change, Al Snow announced 4 weeks ago that the profits from GWK's inaugural show would be donated to help for homeless veterans and survivors of bereavement by suicide. Yes, that's right. Riddle, despite the fact he claims that the charity aspect was only added last minute, no, it was added a month ago. There's literally a video of the promoter Al Snow announcing such. Riddle would then do an interview with TMZ's Inside the Ring podcast, which I don't believe I'm going to be able to play because it's TMZ and they always copyright. He went on to say, my girlfriend had an arrangement with this company GWK, and I'll be honest dude, I see companies like this in the UK all the time. These guys rented an arena, they didn't sell 150 tickets, I'm not knocking them, they're trying to do their thing, but this is garbage dude, and if they actually asked me for the money, which they didn't until later yesterday, and then I woke up this morning to a bunch of death threats, how dare you fucking scam a charity, and I'm like, dog, 4 months ago, this wasn't a charity event. 3 months ago, it wasn't a charity event. This week was the first time I got a message saying, what? You're going to do this to a charity event? I'm doing Make-A-Wish in a couple of weeks. I do charity events. Dude, I do multiple charity events, but I don't get paid a dime. But I'll tell you this, I'm not flying to London in a middle seat with no meal, with no checked bags. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Dude, I don't even know how it's legal. So this response, it just seems like you're being a diva, Matt. I can't lie. There is no justifiable reason to skip a charity show with your only justification being, oh, you had me in a middle seat with no food. Bro, you have all the money in the world to do that yourself. And also, we'll get to GWK's response soon as they pretty much debunk all of this. We'll get there soon though. As in this interview, Matt Riddle would also totally crash out at CM Punk and AJ Lee, as he made claims about AJ Lee that she liked to, quote, get around from what he heard backstage, which is just a mad thing to say. And then he said the following about CM Punk, saying, I think he's fake and I think he's a creep. I don't know. I feel like he's just lingering around the NXT locker room a little too much. There's a lot of things about him. He has like Cora Jade as his daughter and everything, and everybody he kind of oversees. He is now just unprovoked accusing CM Punk of being a creep and AJ Lee of getting around, whatever that even means. Matt Riddle just doing himself absolutely no favor and kind of proving why he never made it far in the wrestling business. And as I did allude to before, Global Wrestling Kingdom have issued their own response as they did announce that Matt Riddle has now paid back his deposit, as they issued the following statement saying, "Update, Mr. Riddle has now paid back his deposit and has given us his word that he will reimburse his expenses too. We have not made any public statements on this unfortunate situation, but we think it's important to set the record clear on Mr. Riddle's claims. His flights were booked and approved by his manager back in April. No issues were raised at the time. We originally planned to coincidence, I'm guessing that's meant to say coincide, his appearance with some seminars, but his manager asked if we could share his weekend with a promoter in Paris who wanted to book him on the Saturday, which we agreed to. Unfortunately, they decided they couldn't work with him. We did make efforts to see if they could help him get booked elsewhere, but to no avail. We simply can't force promotions or gyms to work with him if they don't wish to. After months of chasing his manager for a promised promo, hyping up the event, he eventually sent us one on the Wednesday prior to the show. We wished him a safe flight on the Thursday but got no response. No issue of the flight was raised. We informed him of the name of his driver on Friday morning but got no response. Again, no issue was raised regarding his flight, nor did he let us know that he was planning on not showing up. After his driver waited several hours at the airport for him, we asked him where he was but didn't get a reply back until Friday evening. Only then did he tell us he was unhappy with his flight and decided to take other bookings instead. We implored him to try and get a flight over as fans had paid to see him. He was reminded again that this was a charity event, which was announced on our social media pages back in July. We received no response from Mr. Riddle whatsoever until yesterday afternoon, 3 days after the event. In his many videos, he stated that his flight didn't include meals. Screenshots clearly show that 2 meals were included in his flight, and these screenshots were sent to him on Friday night. No seats were allocated because this is done once you check in online, which Mr. Riddle hadn't done. Any issues with luggage could have been quickly sorted out by a quick message or a phone call. It is incredibly disappointing that this happened, but we would like to focus on the positive and heap massive praise on all the talent and fans who showed up on Sunday. All the fans and talent backstage were incredibly positive, and the reaction of the crowd when Grado's music hit nearly knocked us out of our chairs. Grado truly is the man. Extremely true. Shoutouts to Grado. And you can see the photos here showing that he was checked in with a meal. So Matt Riddle was just completely lying here, and he even had a carry-on bag too. But yeah, that is pretty much all the pieces of the Matt Riddle situation. It's happened now, at least he's paid them back. But oh my god, what an insane situation, and he just dragged CM Punk and AJ Lee into it to make this drama explode even further and make even more people aware of the fact he scammed a charity event. Why would you do that? Yeah, just bring CM Punk and AJ Lee up, especially because AJ Lee is set to come back soon. Bringing them up the way he did is only getting more eyes on this controversy, which I don't know if he wants or not. But yeah, like I said, wherever Matt Riddle goes, drama, controversy, and trouble follows. That's going to do it from me on this video, guys, talking about all the pieces of this Matt Riddle drama. Like this video if you did enjoy. I'll see you all in the next one. Subscribe so you can see the next one. Goodbye, and keep on rolling.